Evening, everybody. I'm Alec LaCasse, and today we're going to be talking about carving the Greenman in cottonwood bark. If you've never carved the Greenman in cottonwood bark before, oh, you're in for a treat. Excited for this. Also, my head is continuously hitting this thing. Alright, let's get into it.
Alright, let's get into it. So this is a very nice medium to small size piece of bark. Maybe 2.5 inches wide. 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick, not extremely thick. This is the kind of bark that many of you can find if you live in, say, the Midwest or even the east or western side of the United States. You should be able to find. I'm not really sure about other countries. Oh, Canada, I know you guys have cottonwood, but if you have cottonwood trees in your state or country, they will grow decent sized bark, and the bigger ones will produce at least bark of this thickness, right? The larger pieces of bark that I'm carving on in other videos, not so much. Very specific species only produce cottonwood bark that thick as those are. But these are very approachable. So this is a project that I'm excited about because it's my favorite thing to carve. Greenmen are awesome. I love carving greenmen. I don't know what it is about them, but I can carve greenmen all day. They have lots of character, and yeah, I like carving them. So you can see here, per usual, I'm not going to annotate every step here, of course, because I don't want to bore you to death, but I'm using a big flat number 3 here, or 4 actually, but a 3 by any other measure. When I say number 3, what I'm indicating is the size of the curve, or the degree of curve. So the more curved chisels have a higher number, like an 8 or a 9. The flatter chisels are like a 2 or 3 or 4, something like that in that range. Well, here I am blabbing about my face and showing you about the way that the nose projects from the head and all that fun stuff. Yeah, so I am defining the bottom of the nose here first, which is unusual. A lot of times you'll see me define the eye socket, and it just goes to show you that it's not imperative that you get these steps in order. These two at least. It is good to get the hollow of the eye on either side of the triangle of the nose and all that fun stuff. Clean up the area beneath the brow ridge on either side of the nose, kind of bring it back, get sort of a angle there. As you can see, I'm feeling it with my fingers there, each side of the nose. And the mustache. Leaves for a mustache, which is nice. It's fun for a change if you're used to carving wood spirits. This isn't that much more technically challenging. It is more work, but it's more rewarding. And people love to put these in their homes, and I enjoy them. I like the way they look, and so super nice to carve for that reason. People like them. I like them. Yeah, so if you want to see the entire lesson of this project, you can see it on the link in the description below. Tagged or linked a video linked to the full carving video amongst other projects. There's a whole lot of other projects like this, and in the realistic face carving category, if you're interested in carving faces, you can go there. It's a subscription, a monthly subscription. You can subscribe yearly or monthly. You save by subscribing yearly, but anyway, this isn't an ad, so I'm not going to go on about it, but basically the idea is to get you through beginner projects, if you're a beginner, into the intermediate and advanced, or if you're an intermediate, start you there and get you to the advanced, or if you're advanced, hopefully there's enough stuff in there to keep you occupied so that you can grow and learn more about carvings, carving the realistic face, that is. I post a new video every month, and so it's updated, so you can access that. Over 20 videos on there now, I think close to 30, if not a little more, but yeah, anyhow, I digress. I'm using the 7 here. I don't usually use this little gouge, but I happen to have an urge to pull out the number 7 and to get on either side of the nose to kind of narrow it. You'll see here soon I'll pare down the nostrils as well, get a bug's eye view. It really shows you kind of the way that the nose needs to be shaped. The other thing here is to look at is the profile. I like to take lots of camera shots at the profile just to make sure everyone sees how much depth I'm getting, because otherwise it's not very helpful just to see the front. So yeah, I go in pretty far below the brow ridge, and I around the nostril flares I make a cut. It's like sort of a C-shaped cut. When you're looking at it from the front view, it looks like a C at least.
I'm also going to leave
the
bridge nice and
kind of looks
wide.
like a C from the
Hard
side.
to see what I'm talking about from there. Hold on.
And so yeah, there you can see it. Those two little cuts on either side of the nostrils. Coming underneath eyeballs, getting depth underneath on the inside corners. And so, yeah, coming in the inside corners with big old gouges. Well, these aren't big. These are 6mm veiners, or actually, might be a 4mm veiner. Again, this face is not very large. It's pretty small. Just going around the eyes. Keeping it going there. Either side. You gotta get a lot of depth on the outside corners of the eyes too. It gives you the ball of the eye. Oh yeah, mid-face groove. Yeah, it's a line that goes parallel with the frown lines. Starts up at the flared nostril and goes down. Mid-face groove starts up at the tear duct and kind of goes down parallel to that frown line. Cleaning up under the leaves. Had a brain fart. Carving a leaf to kind of partially go over the side of his face. The upper bags of the eyelids. Carving those in with the V tool. That's a 60-degree 3mm V. 3 or 4mm V would work. Going in, tightening up the nostrils.
A bit of a point to your nose.
Establishing the upper eyelid here with a V tool. And trimming up the ball of the eye. That looks nice. It's kind of a fairy-like face. He's got the upturned nose, kind of the wider set eyes, kind of caricaturized a bit. You can see him kind of scoring the upper eyelid with a knife. Yep. Yeah, and then really using that knife to kind of detail the ball of the eye and everything kind of surrounding the eye, getting it nice and sharp. And sometimes I like to use a skew to get in the inside corners of the eyes as well. So, yeah. Separate the upper eyelid from the ball, lower eyelid from the ball as well. And nice, that looks nice, doesn't it? Pretty decent. I like him. He's a keeper. I'm pretty sure I sold him. Yeah, I'm like 100% sure I sold him at an art show. These guys sell like hotcakes. Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff. Of course, the face is always good, but the leaves. Getting the shape. Try not to make them too flat. That's my advice. If you're starting in Greenman and you're not used to carving leaves, you know they're not flat, so don't make them flat. I have a tendency to do that. In fact, my first Greenman people... Remember one of my mom's friends came over and she said, have you thought about moving the leaves around a little bit? They're so flat. And I hated her guts. I was like, who are you to give me critique on my artwork? You try it. She was right. She was right. Getting the veins in with the V-tool. Yeah, it looks good. Oh yeah, this is definitely a nice thing to do, is make some plunge cuts with the V-tool to get the edge, the natural leaf edge. That's quite nice. Yep. And then the veins down below, getting those shapes in. You can see the shadows on the leaves that meet the forehead. Nice separation there. Yeah, get the nostril flares, all that good stuff. I want to kind of be modest with my application of the sandpaper, just to give myself a little check to make sure that I'm where I want to be. But generally speaking, the more I carve, the less I sand, because I want to leave all of the character in the carving. You want the person buying this carving or collecting it or looking at it, whether it's you or your customer or your family, to appreciate each cut that it took you to make. And the beautiful thing about this is you couldn't make it really exactly the same if you tried, and each cut is unique to itself. It makes this thing desirable in the marketplace, the art marketplace. So I'm really just coming in, excuse my head, and shaping as I'm sanding too. If I see an area that needs to be smoothed out, like I am here. Yeah, you know, it's controversial. I talk about it a lot. You know, people don't love that you use sandpaper. I use sandpaper before I'm done carving, and so they're right, really, because the sandpaper kind of leaves behind the granules that dull the tools. But so I try to reserve most of the sanding for the end. But I do like to sand a little bit before I finish the carving, just because it's really helpful in seeing the kind of mistakes and shapes that you have. And so you'll see me do that at least once before I finish a carving in the process of carving the face. So that's, I mean, if you want to use a rasp or a riffler or a combination of the two, then that kind of protects you. Or there are some sandpapers that they don't have grit in them. The name of it escapes me, but if I think of it, I'll type it in the description below. But there's a sandpaper that doesn't leave. Also, maybe I'll create a little line above the head here. Yeah, and using the back of the tool to kind of press in some wrinkles, soften them up, make sure they're nice and subtle. But don't sand them all the way off, like I just did. That's something you got to be careful of, not getting carried away with your sandpaper once you've done all the detail work. But yeah, I guess it's kind of the way carving is. It's like a back and forth. You add the detail, you take it off because you realize you don't have enough depth, then you add it back, and it's sort of a back and forth. Well, this has been real, folks. I've enjoyed showing you the way that I carve a simple kind of Greenman turned off to the side. I hope that you enjoy your own projects as you're pursuing your carving journey, or if you're just kind of a passerby or a viewer, enjoy. And oh yeah, this is me shamelessly plugging the magazine cover I was in. So thank you guys. Have a good day.